I want, on the onset, Right Honourable Speaker and members, to thank the Minister for the partial honesty, because his statement confirms that actually Ugandans are detained by rebel groups in Myanmar. Secondly, that there are several Ugandans detained across the diaspora, mostly in the Middle East. I only wish to state that I thought the full minister, General J.J. Odong, would have used this opportunity to come and make his maiden speech. He may even be reshuffled before making a maiden speech on such a critical matter. He has not appeared for the last 2 years. Now on the statement, Right Honourable Speaker.
Is there a reshuffle? Are you planning a reshuffle?
Right Honourable Speaker, good governance requires change of guards.
Just proceed, Honourable.
Right Honourable Speaker, responding to the report, one, on matters of NAM and G77 plus China, as mentioned by the Minister in his preamble, I presuppose that may require a comprehensive statement to this House, not hiding it under the cover of this response. Thirdly, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the statement purports to leave the role of giving travel advice to the Minister of ICT. Our embassies and the Minister of Foreign Affairs cannot abandon this noble duty. Whereas there might be insecurity in different parts of the world, but the Minister of Foreign Affairs and our embassies ought to give regular and timely travel advice to Ugandans. Equally, on the number of Ugandans detained by rebel groups in Myanmar, the Minister has mentioned a figure of 30 without a methodology. But he was quick to add that actually there are several rebel groups. I want to state that several Ugandans are in different compounds, not only Bairo and UK compound. These rebels operate compounds as camps, and many Ugandans are disputed in various camps within Myanmar. We still sustain and retain that the number of Ugandans from our counting is 450, and they are likely to be more. We have the names, though we have not seen the annexures. The Minister alluded to of the names, but we equally have a number of those names. Also, in terms of the appropriate response and position, whereas the Minister is alluding to a meeting by the Prime Minister. However, Right Honourable Speaker and members, the matter at hand is urgent. These are Ugandans in the hands of rebels. Establishing bilateral ties with Myanmar is welcome. However, we must also address immediate concerns, because establishing bilateral relations is a comprehensive and a longer process. These are Ugandans who are at risk of life and death. We must look at immediate and remedial and urgent measures to rescue these stranded Ugandans. And Chair, to this, Right Honourable Speaker and members, to this effect, it is our humble proposal that this Parliament can institute an ad hoc committee to urgently address this matter, because we realize that Cabinet and Government is failing to come up with a comprehensive statement on how to ably negotiate the release of these Ugandans. And the negotiating the release of these Ugandans may not only be with the government in Myanmar. These are Ugandans in the hands of rebel groups. We must also see some measures of reaching out to now these rebel groups, because they are hosting Ugandans, and this is a question of life and death. Lastly, second last, Right Honourable Speaker.
Colleagues, let's listen to a honourable colleague. If you want to speak, you ask for permission. I'll give you a chance to go on the microphone and you go on record. Honourable.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And actually, their minister spoke. Now I'm a shadow minister. This is our position as opposition, which I beg that you listen. It is for the interest of our country and Ugandans. On the number of Ugandans detained in India, the 200 who are stranded, we find the statement of the minister very shallow and very dishonest. You cannot say that Ugandans in India and those in Egypt are on their own and they should find the means of returning on their own. These are Ugandans under distress. Uganda has a national carrier, a Uganda airline. when it comes to repatriating Ugandan nationals who are stranded and distressed abroad, let's discuss it with the boldness and with honesty, not just focusing on just offering answers. These are Ugandans who are detained. We have a national carrier which does not even make profits. But at least we can utilize it to repatriate and support our stranded nationals. Lastly, Right Honourable Speaker and members, on Ugandans who are stranded and detained in Egypt, the minister was open that he cannot recollect the number. But I want to state so many Ugandans are detentions in Egypt and in other parts of the Middle East. But nevertheless, when it comes to the policy measures, we talked about a fee of 500 that has been made compulsory for them to pay. So, and we're now talking about hundreds of Ugandans. Right Honourable Speaker and members, on Egypt alone, the minister mentioned fines which Ugandans are destined to pay of $16,000, that is 60 million, or to $33,000, that is 126 million. These Ugandans are largely domestic workers. They can't pay this money. We are questioning ourselves for all this long. Where was the Minister of Foreign Affairs to either give advice to Ugandans or engage countries of the world, including Egypt, on better bilateral treatment and bilateral relations, especially labor-related treatment? We want to put it on record that Ugandans are more likely and will more likely fail to comply with the 15th March 2024 deadline. And in such a scenario, they may be required now to pay 126 million each. This is impossible and outrageous. The Minister of Foreign Affairs cannot say and cannot come and brief Parliament in an open statement that they are on their own and their families. That is outrageous. We must have a honest position on how best the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and government is going to address this matter.
Thank you, Honourable.